What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division build video. Recently we completed the Dark Hours raid using our Nemesis rifles only. Recently we've done it with pistols only, we've done it walking only as well. So drop it down below if any other challenges you think would be good in how to complete the Dark Hours raid. But I digress, let's get going with this build. So this is the build that I used throughout most of the Dark Hours encounters. I did switch the chest piece out a couple of times and I will show you that. And there is a couple of options as well that other people were using that they found better. I just settled with this one. I got really comfortable with it. But just before we get started, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up and hit the bell so you are notified when I upload more Division videos. Or even better, come on over to Twitch and watch this kind of madness, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. Hit that follow button. I could be streaming live right now. And if you need a community Discord, there's never been a better time to join. A lot of Division hype right now. You'll find the link down below in the description. Okay, with all that said, let's get started. Like I said, I'll put a link down below in the description. You can see the entire Dark Hours raid where I cut out all the death and just put the encounters in the video. That's just about to go live in a few minutes, so I'll put that link down below in the description. So this is the build that I settled with. Now it hits really hard. It's got 311% headshot damage, and we'll go into the range and we'll do some numbers. Like I said, if you want to see it in action, that other video is available for you to have a look at, and I'll tell you why I settled with this as kind of the best kind of all-round build that I used. So obviously we was using just the Nemesis. Now that was the rules that we applied to this ourselves. You could use the White Death, you could use the Mantis, you can use a lot of things with this. I won't really use the Dread, I'm not a big fan of that, but as you can see it hits really hard. Now in here this is kind of making it look better than what it is, I'm not going to lie to you, but in the Dark Hours raid when we was fighting the bad guys in Razorback, this build couldn't one-shot an elite. It left them just on the health bar with about 50 to 60% of health left. So I had to kind of get my headhunter bonus going to be able to one-shot them. And we found that across all the builds that the guys were running, no one could one-shot them. But I do think if I got this up another couple of percent, so 1% more would probably give me a 2.6 mil damage. And I think if I got it to level 9, I think it would one-shot the elites, or definitely at level 10. This build definitely does have the potential to one-shot the harder elites in the raid, not just the outdoor elites that you're seeing right here now, which I think this is what this is set to, for an example. So let's just go over the build. So obviously we've got the Nemesis, and we know that this hits really hard. It's got headshot damage, it's got a crit hit chance on it, and shots fired deal 0 to 100% weapon damage based on how long the trigger is held before we're released. And I guess you can see that they're charging up at the side. I think everyone knows this by now unless you're new to the game. And you fire it off and you get a huge hit, a huge number. The number at the side isn't registering correctly here, but you can see in the bottom left that last one hit for 53 million, and that was a blue number as well. Obviously we're not aiming for crit damage and crit chance with this, but you can see the 55 mil if we get a crit, but the standard number headshot is 53 million, which is really nice, really good. Offhand you can run, like I said, whatever you want. I've got a carbine in here. I couldn't use it when we were doing the raid, it was Nemesis only, so use whatever you want. Pistol, I would probably use the Orbit if you're going to put anything in here. I've not got mine on me at the moment, I cleared my inventory out. But yeah, I would definitely put in an Orbit here. Carbine 7 was strained, can't go wrong. FAMAS was strained, really good. Police M4 was strained, really good. You could get the non-named version of the Kingbreaker now if you don't mind how rowdy it is. Put strained on that, something like that. Really nice, because we're having to use this specialization because we want the extra headshot damage that comes with marksman rifle. If you were going to put on technician here, you could use flatline. That would give you a lot of extra damage, but it just depends how much you want to take away from your primary, give to the secondary. It's not really the point of the build. So with that said, before we go over the gear, we'll go and take a look at the specialization. and just why we're choosing to use that sharpshooter. And now the reason is a while back they made a few changes. Sharpshooter used to be best in slot for every, so if you're using an assault rifle, an SMG or whatever, sharpshooter was always best in slot. But they changed this talent, increased headshot damage by 15% for rifles and marksman rifles. This used to be 15% for every gun archetype, but they changed it. But you do still get this 15% increased weapon stability, reduced recoil, and faster reacquisition of targets, which is still really nice. And if you've got a bouncier gun, it still makes sharpshooter king. Everything else is pretty standard. We're not really bothered about anything else like any of these. Not really with too much, but I mean a little bit of a damage buff there for your group agents, but that is about it. Just obviously make sure you spec into marksman rifle damage here as well. So we'll start with the gear set. So I've gone with 3-piece aces, and the reason with this is you get 15% marksman rifle damage for 2-piece, and then for the 3-piece you get 30% headshot damage, which is a lot across 3 pieces, considering we're sacrificing the extra stat that a high-end piece gets. So obviously if you look at a high-end mask, you can see there it gets the double at the bottom, and we get the single here, and obviously we get the brand set bonus as well. Yeah, you're lacking that one extra. You get 3 attributes essentially, and with this now I only get 2. That means that these have to be worth a lot of damage, and 3-piece aces kind of just wins out when we can do other things. So 2 pieces rather gives us 15% marksman rifle damage, and 3 pieces gives us 30% headshot damage. So you can see that is rolled. So then headshot in the mod, headshot in the attribute, which is really easy to get because I guess by now most people have completed Dark Hours. You can craft this, and then you can go here. You can see I've got a headshot on weapon damage, and then on the holster, headshot on weapon damage. So you can just craft them. They always come with a red core attribute, and then just roll the attribute to headshot damage. Really, really easy, and then just take your time optimizing the pieces, which is the material grind, because optimization and expertise cost a lot, an absolute fortune. So then the other 3 pieces that I went with an Araldi backpack, and you kind of stuck with having to do this in this order. You can't switch any of the around because this is a named piece and this is a named piece also. You have to get an Araldi backpack, marksman rifle damage 10% for the brand set bonus, and then headshot damage, weapon damage, and then vigilance just for the flat out 25% damage, which is insane. Really, really, really nice. Now, obviously, I would prefer this crit hit damage to be crit hit chance. Not that I'm trying to build any crit hit chance, just that I'd rather have the chance of doing a crit hit rather than just giving myself more crit hit damage. So that would be the god roll. That would be absolutely perfect. But I was more concerned about getting my headshot damage as high as possible. Chest piece, I went with the chain killer. Really nice because we get 5% weapon damage from the brand set bonus. Weapon damage, crit hit damage again. Again, that would preferably be crit hit chance, but just not happening. And then headshot. Then perfect headhunter, which basically raises their damage to 1250% if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. It is. So after killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 150% of that killing blows damage. The damage is capped to 800%, but we're capped to 1250% for some huge damage numbers. And like I said, once you've hit one headshot, you could obliterate absolutely everything on the field. Knees, boxes with headshot damage, just purely because this damage target cover is multiplicative and it gave me a lot of extra damage. And especially in the Razorback fight, what we had to think about was how much damage we could possibly do to Razorback with a headshot build. That's where it got really tricky. And we had to build stacks with the chain killer and adds, and then use them stacks to do the damage on Razorback. Now, other options that you could do, you could literally just switch this straight out and go with a piece that probably most people have got at this point. Go with a sacrifice that has headshot damage on. You can see I've rolled this. I did use this for some of the first few fights. Obviously, perfect glass cannon's great. 30% amplified damage is huge, but the 60% is pretty rough, especially as a sniper. But it does give you 15% extra headshot damage from the Providence piece as well. and obviously just put a 10% headshot damage mod in here as well. So they're the two that I flicked between. Now there was another variation of this, because Razorback's weak points take health damage that you could use. So you could flip this to Ace's knees to make sure you still have the 3-piece, and then you would swap the helmet out and you would use a Hollow Man. Now my Hollow Man isn't the best for this, because I would love to have headshot damage here instead of critical hit chance, but they are pretty hard to get hold of. They're DZ exclusive, or you get them from the named caches that drop from the global events. Saying that, Golden Bullet, the best event, starts this evening, so maybe it's your time to shine if you don't want to go into the DZ and you want to try and get hold of one of these. Farm that, get on that floor 10 and get it farmed out. But as you can see here, I did try it because the brand set bonus doesn't give you anything, but definitely weapon damage and the health damage, and then the mod slot, really nice. And it did do a little bit of extra damage, but I just found that I was better off overall running the opposite way around with my Ace's mask and my Foxes, because obviously when you think about it, Razorback is classed to be out of cover, so that damage was applying everywhere anyway, so that was only giving me 10% health damage, so an extra 2% bonus, but this applied to absolutely everything, enemies with armor, so I just found that that worked better. When we were going for skills, I actually used the chem launcher and the riot form. That way then I could form the enemies in place, because if like me you're not the best at headshots, keeping them in place really helps, even though they do wobble around. And then I used a revive hive, and that's kind of what I would go with anyway. And that gives you a huge 311% headshot damage, really nice. Like I said, you could probably push that up a little bit by using Providence and Glass Cannon, but the bonus damage from the Chain Killer was absolutely huge, really good. These two, again, like I said, we're not interested in. It was all about this number here. And that's going to be it for the video. Be sure to check out my other videos. Check out the pistol raid, the walking only raid, and then of course this one, the Nemesis only raid. And drop some comments down below. What kind of raid would you like to see next? While we're waiting for other content, we might as well do stuff like this. It actually is a lot of fun. So come on over to Twitch and say hello. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.